Okay. Okay. Okay, everyone. Thanks for joining. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. I appreciate all of those who have joined to watch today. We're going to talk about SWOT analysis as it really pertains to our communities as a whole. And my name is Michael Whitlow. I work for Greystone Communities out of Irving, Texas, and work all over the country with CCRCs and not-for-profit and for-profit standalones as well, primarily on the AL memory support skilled nursing side. If you guys have questions, you can send me questions through the chat icon at the bottom of the screen. There's also a little Q&A box there. You can also submit questions. And then if you want to talk some more, or you have some other questions you want to get some feedback on, feel free to shoot me an email at mwhitlow@greystonecommunities.com. And I'm always glad to get your feedback and chat with you a little bit more after this. So my PowerPoint, I've always loved Swiss Army knives, and I don't know how many of you attending ever had a Swiss Army knife, and hopefully everybody knows what one is, but there's a picture of it up in the top there. And when I was a kid, there's two pictures down below. One is me on the left when I was 9 years old. My grandparents got me my own Swiss Army knife from Switzerland, and I was pretty proud of it. And the picture on the right is me camping with my dad. And I think on that trip, that's the trip where I almost cut my pinky off with it. But you know, it was a great tool. And you know, for a young boy who liked being outdoors, the Swiss Army knife was the ultimate tool. And that's really why it was created. It needed to be versatile, and the Swiss Army, the Swiss military needed a tool that their soldiers could use to make adjustments to their weapons, and also, you know, open, you know, food and prepare different things on the go. And so that's really where the idea came from. And it all started in 1809, which is crazy that even till this day, people still have Swiss Army knives, and it has changed quite a bit over the ages, but it's definitely a versatile tool. And so I want to compare this to the SWOT analysis, because, you know, traditionally SWOT analysis has been something that we've used in our marketing plans or our business plans, and it goes into the plan, a lot of thought goes into it, and then it just seems to live there and die there. And I think that there's so much more to this tool that we can be using it for, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm bringing SWOTy back. I hope you get my Justin Timberlake correlation there. And the reason why really right now we need a tool to take a look at what's going on in our market. We need to better understand how situations right now concerning COVID are related to our business, and how we need to change and move forward. And so we need a good tool to do that. The market's been disrupted. We are selling in a very non-traditional way. Lots of Zoom tours, lots of FaceTime touring, webinars like the one you're on now, you've seen increase very heavily. We're facing new objections and barriers, and there will be more that will come as a result of the processes and procedures that we put in place in our communities to keep our residents and our staff safe. Also timelines. I mean, a lot of our communities, a lot of the communities around the country aren't accepting any sort of admissions, and we might not know when that might change, or when some sales staff might go back to the office. There's a whole lot of unknowns. And so this really is a good time to take a look at our product, take a look at our market, to reevaluate what our strengths and weaknesses are as we begin to re-promote and remarket to drive people after this scenario. So why use the SWOT? Why am I such a proponent of using a SWOT analysis right now? Well, we got to have a starting point. We have to have a good place to start conversations about our product and about issues and how we're going to work through those issues, problems, and weaknesses a lot of those are new to us. A lot of them might have been something that was here before this whole situation started, but it's a great starting point. And the reason for that is because it's simple. It's very simple. It's quick. It's easy to understand. You don't have to be a master writer or editor to put one of these together. Everybody can participate in this. And I'm going to encourage all of you in your communities that everybody does. And we'll talk about that more later. It also looks at internal and external strengths and weaknesses. And that's very important because we have to look at how our product is matching up to the environment externally within our communities and cities. And is our messaging and what we're saying, to our residents and to the people in the marketplace actually matching what their needs and wants are. Another great thing about doing the SWOT and involving multiple people and them doing it individually is that you get multiple viewpoints. You get multiple lenses through which we're seeing our product and our processes. I might have I'm going to have a different opinion on our product than, say, somebody in management or clinical. They might see it differently. So it gives us an opportunity to get multiple viewpoints to really find the truth, or what is a more broader accepted truth of our product. And it's got multiple benefits. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what exactly a SWOT analysis is. And I know some of you have done a SWOT, some of you maybe haven't done it since college or high school. It's a very academia-driven, it seems, marketing tool, but we're going to change that. But to get back to the academia part of it, SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The S and the W, strengths and weaknesses, those are internal. These are things that are looking at our product internally, things that we have a little bit more control over than opportunities and threats. A strength is something internally that we want to build upon. We want to maintain that strength, and we want to leverage it. These are areas of expertise, capabilities that set us apart, things that our organization really does well. These are our advantages. This is why people want to choose us. Weaknesses, also internal, are things that we really need to figure out how can we remedy this or eliminate it, right? And so those are things we need to identify that currently it might be gaps in services we provide or capabilities. It might be just the overall morale or leadership development opportunities. It might be unclear selling propositions or limited resources that we might have. And so we need to look at those, and each department is going to have to look at what are these strengths and weaknesses around the community and in our own department. Opportunities and threats, these are more external focused. Opportunities are things that we need to prioritize and optimize. Right now, there's a lot of opportunities in the market. There's new opportunities that are coming about that have never been there before. I mean, there's going to be niche markets that come out of the scenario that we're in right now. And if we look back in time, you can see these niche markets that grow and develop and maybe die off or have a resurgence come out of situations similar to this, when there's a shift in the market, when there's something that alters the market. It brings up new things to the surface that we can take advantage of. And so we need to look at where these opportunities are, whether they're competitor vulnerabilities, whether they're potential partnerships. A great time, right? We're seeing kind of a resurgence in technology. There's more technology that we can build into our communities. Maybe we can add into our communities that can make living through a COVID again in the future, hopefully that doesn't happen, but that we're really set up to operate in a really sheltered environment and still be able to provide the value and those benefits and the socialization that is such an important part of our product. The opposite of opportunities is threats, and these are things that we need to counter. These are potential threats, potential issues. Right now, one of the biggest threats we're seeing externally is negative press media coverage. This is something that if you turn on the news, what is the perception right now of people in the public, the general population? There's a whole lot of things being said, maybe taken out of context or not true or elaborated on about mainly skilled nursing or nursing homes and senior living in general, that it's going to have an effect on our product. It's going to have an effect on what we do. And so we need to figure out how to counter these things. The other thing we see right now, obviously, is the economic impacts. Those who have retired, their 401ks or their retirement plans, how are those being affected? And will that be a driving factor in people moving forward into senior living? So the SWOT is something very simple. This is a very basic overview of it, but it's a very simple idea, and it can be done very simply. SWOT analysis can be used as a diagnostic tool. What I mean by that kind of goes back to what I'm talking about with the external market and how our product compares to what the market wants. What are the true market needs right now? What do people want? Are we offering solutions to problems that are relevant right now? Are the things that we find value in, are those really in demand? Are they really of high value? So it gives us an opportunity to kind of shift those focuses or those understandings of our product. Also is a great time right now, and we're doing a lot of this, is helping to understand better our competition. What are they doing? How are they reacting during this time? What are the protocols? What are the good things? What are the bad things are they doing? Well, this is a great time to touch base and figure out how you stack up in the market, how your community and just their presence in dealing with this situation is really indicative of how they'll deal with other situations. And then also our current value versus perceived value, very similar to what we talked about earlier. Is what we're selling true? Is it as valuable as we perceive it to be at the moment? It might have been valuable 3 months ago, might not be as valuable now. SWOT analysis as a marketing tool. This is really traditionally where SWOT has lived in our marketing plans. And it still is very, very valuable here. It helps us identify new opportunities. We need to look at efforts that we've been doing or tactics that we've been doing that maybe we haven't poured enough attention into or capital. And also looking at successful efforts that really have worked well, that have produced. We need to maintain and maybe even turn up the notch on those. And then also looking at those plateau, the efforts or the tactics that we've been doing that really haven't showed growth in the past, and they're failing. We need to eliminate those, because right now we have to invest where we know we are going to get return. And then also just the fact that as a marketing tool, it helps us prioritize and focus our attention on what tactics and efforts really will provide value and bring return for ourselves and our customers. As a sales tool, SWOT traditionally hasn't been really used as a sales tool in the sense that it helps drive the creation of our messaging. And in the sales tool, when I say messaging, I'm really talking about how we communicate verbally or in emails with prospects or adult children about our product. The SWOT's going to help us organize our sales structure. So what are we going to mention first? What are really the top features and benefits? And are those features and benefits backed up with what we're actually doing, right? So if we sell a feature and benefit, is that actually seen once I get into the community? So this is a great deal there. I put the bottom point here. It says solidifies sales proposition, total belief in your message. This is super, super important when selling. And those of you who have been selling for a short period of time or a long period of time know that if you don't believe in your product, if you don't believe in what you're saying, that message is communicated to your prospects, and it's really hard for you to be passionate about what you're doing. So this really, the SWOT gives us an opportunity to really evaluate what we're saying, to make sure that those things are true. And if they're not true, to put steps in place to make sure that we can figure out how to make it true and to make those things realized. Maybe at one point it was true, and we've kind of maybe haven't done a great job at making sure it's true today, but we're going to do that going forward. An alignment tool. This maybe is the one part of the SWOT analysis that I don't believe it has been utilized for in the past. And really, this is the central part of this tool as a SWOT that I really want you to take home today. It's an alignment tool. I want to involve the entire community leadership in the SWOT analysis. And we'll walk through what that looks like in a very simple form. But I want to involve ops. I want to operations management. I want to involve our clinical team. I want to involve our sales team, and absolutely can include maintenance and housekeeping and dining if you'd like as well. All very important parts. And what I want to do is I want to get their perspective. I want them to complete this on their own and do one for the entire community. What do they feel are the strengths, weaknesses, the opportunities and threats? And how does that align with what our mission and vision is? How does that align with what we believe our sales propositions are? And hopefully through this exercise, you're going to uncover some differences in how we view our product, how we understand our product, and what we see is true. And it gives us a great starting point to open up, to have conversation about some issues or some needed adjustments we need to make in our product without coming off as complaining or not gathering enough information before bringing it to the attention of somebody. We can do it as a group and see these things together and really realign our messaging and efforts. We want to go back to the core mission and vision of our products and our corporation and our companies and organizations to be on the same page. What I recommend for an alignment, SWOT alignment process is really to make sure that meet with the department heads or whoever you choose to participate in the SWOT and really let them know why we want to do this. What is the purpose of this? What is our goal in achieving this, and what are we looking for? And we also want to talk to them about how to do it. It is very, very simple. There's a lot of great examples out there. You can get on the internet, look up some generic examples. There's also companies that share their actual SWOT analysis with you that you can download and share with your team as well. But we want to involve the leaders of our departments for sure, and anybody else that you feel would provide value in this. We want to do is after we do that, we break off, everybody completes their SWOT on their own. And then all of that information comes back to one, maybe two people to combine that information. What I'd suggest is get maybe it's a big dry erase board in one of your conference rooms. I'd really prefer you put it on paper so that you can hang it up and go back to it and visit it and definitely take a picture of it when you're done. But I'd like those statements that people agree on, whether it's a strength or a weakness or an opportunity or a threat, let's highlight those in blue. In blue or green, whatever. And then things that maybe we have conflicting statements about, maybe one person says our food is really a selling point and it's great. Maybe one person says our food's terrible and it's a deterrent. We want to highlight that in red and make sure that we address and talk about why are those two perspectives so different on something that's in our community. And then you want to take those unique statements, the things that somebody might bring up that's a selling statement, a feature, a benefit, opportunity, or a threat that nobody else thought of. And you want to highlight those because you need to dig in and understand and say, man, this is something we really need to pursue. And then we want to present that back to the group. And that's really where we're going to open it up for discussion. And we're going to use those highlighted bullet points as a way to walk through and talk to our team about what things we already find to be true, and then move on to those things that we don't really agree on. And we need to understand, is that because we don't fully understand the value or what's going on with that particular statement? Or is it something that we really aren't doing very well, but we're just not all on the same page? So huge benefit and value in doing this with your team. So pretty cool stuff. I like to call SWOT sweet words of truth. The SWOT analysis allows teams to realign, refocus their energy in the same direction. It reveals the truth without bias. Very important. And revealing the truth without bias helps us really go to constructive conversations to talk about our products and help us resolve some of those issues. It keeps us in touch and relevant with what's going on outside of our community. And SWOT is a very simple, effective collaboration tool that can be used in any organization, any group, any team, any partnership. So I highly encourage you guys to give it a look, to share this with your teams, to bring it up. There's a whole lot more we can talk about, but keep it simple. I think this is something you're going to hear a lot more from me about, and it's something I think that you'll definitely provide value in. So I'm going to open it up to some questions, and I definitely would like to hear some feedback, and also those of you who were able to send a question. I appreciate that. If you weren't, please shoot me an email. You know, this involves everybody, and I could see the SWOT analysis being done at Greystone and being very effective to involve all groups in our products. And so I appreciate that. A couple questions I got here is, one is, who should be the one to combine the information? I would say, you know, it really could be anybody, but I would say probably start with the marketing director. I feel they have a good pulse on most the different, they really are the one who moves between a lot of the different group heads, and they're involved in those group meetings. I also want to make sure that somebody who's leading this can really be, you know, very neutral and be able to present this where it's received very well. So I think that'd be a good place to start. That would be my recommendation. Another question I have just, this is the last one I got here, and if you have one, shoot it over or send me an email, is how often should we do this? The answer to this one is really, I think if you're in sales and marketing, you need to do this twice a year for yourself within your group for your product. If we're talking doing it for the whole community involving multiple departments or groups, I think you should do it once a year. Or if you have something like a COVID scenario come up, or an economic, something that really shakes or rattles the market, I think you need to turn around and really check and make sure that what you're doing works and your message is true. So I appreciate you guys so much for joining. I hope that you guys got some value out of this. I'd love to continue this message with you in discussion. If you'd like to send me an email, I'd love to talk to you via email or on the phone, but I really appreciate it. We'll do one quick shout out. On Greystone's website, greystonecommunities.com, there is now a resource tab. If you click the menu, you can go to resources, and it'll give you access to a lot of these real-time resources and different white papers that we've published. So go ahead, take a look at the website, and appreciate you guys joining in, and we'll talk to you soon. I hope you're doing well. Thanks again.